Hey everybody, Gene Ginsberg here, and of
Hey
course,
everyone.
Angela. How are you?
Hi everyone. I'm great, thank you. I'm excited today to talk about how to do a digital makeover. I think this is really important for people, especially if you've been online for even a little bit of time.
Awesome. So tell us what a digital makeover is.
So I absolutely will tell you what a digital makeover is. So this is an exercise that I've done a lot throughout the years is I tell people, I'm like, you really need to take a look at how you're appearing front facing, like to the public. So I say, grab out a piece of paper or your phone and let's make some notes. So what I want you to do is go to Google and like type your name in and any business that you've been associated with, that you've owned, et cetera, and see what comes up. Like, what do people see the first time they Google you, right? And a lot of times people are surprised because there may be old, outdated video. There may be nothing may be showing up. Your social media, it gives you really like a bird's eye view on how people view you, not necessarily how you view yourself. And then I want you to write down everything that you're like, oh, wow, this isn't showing up or this is showing up and I want to change it. Then I want you to make a list of all the places that you are actively on, like all your social media networks, any forums, things like Reddit, or Medium, whatever those places are. And then I want you to go take a look at each and every one of them and see how you're showing up. Is your branding current? Is your messaging current? Are all your photos up? Do you have, like, is your website good? Does it need a makeover? Like all of those things, and collectively bring everything together. And, or do you have assets out there that you want to get rid of completely that need to be deleted and go bye-bye? So Jean, why do you think it's important to do this?
Well, it's first of all, I guess why it's important, I can share that. So it's important to be consistent across your entire brand, because what happens if you're not is that it will cause brand confusion to your audiences, and they will see you and they will Google you and they'll be like, what is, this seems inconsistent with what you're saying, or the imagery is inconsistent, or your brand presence is inconsistent. So that causes brand confusion. And when you cause brand confusion, then people are less likely to engage with you, to buy it from you, because they're like not sure what you're trying to say. So that's why it's so important. But before you even start the digital makeover, I was going to take like one step back before the digital makeover, and that is you have to make sure that you know what your brand is. And so one of the things I do with all the clients that I engage is we do a branding and messaging worksheet, and that talks about your value proposition, your brand presence, your brand promise, like your core values of your business. And if you guys want that, I'm happy to share that with you. Just send me either a private message, or you can add a comment here in the Facebook, or the wherever you're watching this. This is being streamed across many channels, so wherever you're watching it, please feel free to comment, and we'll send you a link to the branding and messaging worksheet. But that is the first step. So be clear and have clarity on what it is that you stand for. What's your brand all about? What are you? And then once you're very clear on what that is and you know what your messaging is, then to go do the digital makeover and then make the changes that seem inconsistent.
I think that that's really, really important, because even if you do the digital makeover, first, and meaning like do the searches, you won't know exactly what you want to make the changes to if you don't do what Jean is suggesting first, which is knowing what your branding and your messaging really are. I think that's really key. And, it's interesting because as we evolve over time and our businesses begin to evolve, we need to make sure our messaging is on point. And the other thing that I think is really part of all of everything both Jean and I have said is really doing some market research, meaning reach out to your ideal client and just like touch in with them at least every 6 months and see where they're at. Because as the market space evolves, as your niche evolves, needs may change to some degree, even if it's a few small things. So you want to make sure that that's in your messaging and in your branding, like Jean talked about. So I think having a branding and a messaging session, if you will, even if if you're brand new, of course, but if you've been in the digital space, I think you should relook at that every 6 months to make sure that you're still on point, because things are evolving so fast in our world today, and new things and new ways of things are coming up because of technology, that it's really, because if you're off just by like a little tiny bit, then your messaging can be off. So Jean, do you have any more thoughts on that?
Yes. So I think you nailed all the points that I wanted to talk about. Make sure to do your messaging first. Make sure you are clear on what it is, what you stand for, what your brand promises, and then go out and do a digital makeover. And I think just taking a look at everything holistically, and I think even sometimes like what helps me just from my own experience, and this potentially could be helpful for you, I'll share my experience, that a lot of times when I look at my own stuff, like I don't see a lot of things because I'm so close to it that I don't really notice things. Like even just a couple of weeks ago, I've engaged with a coach, like a business coach, and he reviewed my website, and he's like, oh, you missed something on your website, like this word is misspelled, and I was like, oh crap, like I need to go and change that. So it's like a lot of times you don't even see because you're so like in you're so like in the moment and you're so like close to it. So having a second pair of eyes, whether that's a colleague, a friend, or a business partner or a business coach or anybody who can take a look at your messaging, take a look at your materials online, whether that's your website, whether that's your social media, and just provide some feedback about things that you might have missed, things that maybe are inconsistent, because it's always good to just get another set of eyes to review it so that you can, take a step back as a person who's just involved in it so much, and you just might not be able to see things.
Absolutely. I think that that's really important. And, Jean, I also have been thinking of getting I think a business coach is great, but if you don't have a business coach, then perhaps get like a couple trusted friends that aren't afraid to tell you what they think. Or if you want if you're part of our women, our group on Facebook, right? Our women entrepreneur group. So it's digital marketing and tech for women entrepreneurs. If you're part of that group and you want other women to check out your website for a digital makeover and give you feedback, feel free to post it in the group. I mean, absolutely. I'll take a look at it and give you feedback. I'm sure you would too, Jean.
Yeah, we would love to do that for you. We do that all the time. I mean, I do that all the time for my clients. I go and I review typically as part of any digital marketing engagement, I do a digital marketing audit of everything that they've done, just so that I know what the baseline is. So I've done like hundreds of digital marketing audits probably at this point, and I usually charge $1,500 for a digital marketing audit, but because you guys are part of the group, I, of course, will do it for free for you and just give you some feedback. So if you are interested in that, or if you're part of our group, then definitely go into our group. It's it's digital marketing and tech for women entrepreneurs. And if you're not part of our group, I'm actually going to put a link to our group. So please join us if you're a woman entrepreneur, and we would love to have you in the group.
Yes, absolutely. So I think really that's all that there is to cover. No, I think that's all as relates to getting a digital makeover. Is just, make sure you know what your branding and messaging is going to be about. Go do your research to see what everything looks like. If there's anything you want to get out of the cyberspace, and then make it happen. And then lastly, if you're part of our group or you want to be part of our group, come in and share your website. We're happy to do a digital makeover look at it.
Yep. Thanks so much, everybody. See you guys later.